Hello, I'm Angela Mount from YourFavouriteWines.com, and today with TopTable.com we're going to explore the world of matching wine with Indian food. And I'm here to dispel the myth that you can only drink lager with curry. And we're here today in the heart of the City of London at Cinnamon Kitchen, the sister restaurant to Cinnamon Club, and I'm going to talk to celebrity chef Vivek Singh. Vivek, you're one of the best known Indian chefs in the world, I would say, and you run two of the UK's most famous Indian restaurants, Cinnamon Club and Cinnamon Kitchen. I've been reading some of your recipe books. Tell me a little bit more about your style of cuisine and what you're trying to bring to the customers in your restaurants.
I had been cooking in India for 9 years, and so traditional cooking, traditional Indian cooking, and having grown up in India, home cooking as well. Was something that we see every day, so you probably don't realize how intense and involved it is. What I try to do here is a little bit different in the sense that I draw inspiration from the roots, and I sort of combine traditional cooking techniques and traditional Indian spicing, but I pair that and match that and kind of marry that with the best quality local seasonal produce that I can lay my hands on in this country.
Well, today we're going to be tasting, or I'm going to be very lucky and taste some of Vivek's signature dishes. But my big challenge here is to dispel the myth that you can only drink lager with Indian food. Tell us what we've got for the first course.
We're trying spice crusted seared scallops with a Goan inspired tomato and lemon sauce and some stir fried mushrooms. There they are. The spices on the scallops themselves are there more for texture than for a big kick or a punch.
What I'm going to try with this dish, because from what you've said, it's light, it's vibrant, it's quite intensely flavoured, but it's got a very lifted feel to it, is a zesty white wine, Raimat Albarino, so from northwestern Spain, because I really wanted something that's going to sort of bring out the natural sweetness of the scallop. This is where my job gets very difficult, because we need to see whether it's going to work. So I'm going to try one of these.
So are you looking for any creaminess, any oak at all on the nose?
You really taste the fennel.
Yeah, yeah.
Very fresh.
Very fresh, very.
So I think any sort of southern Indian Goan style curries and Indian food work extremely well with this fresh, lively style. Now, the second wine I've chosen is a rosé, because I want to be a little bit controversial and prove that rosé wine is fantastic with food, specifically spiced food.
And I have a feeling that it will actually, the scallop, this dish, because there's so much going on.
It's got a real intense fruitiness, and one of the key things with Indian food is to have really bold, fruity, often New World wines. They seem to work the best because they've got the power and the personality
I agree.
to match
I mean,
up
it's
to...
just a little bit more Bollywood, isn't
yes,
it?
Yeah, absolutely. Well, the perfect Bollywood wine.
Yeah. It's actually coming together quite nicely with the mushrooms as well, kind of woody.
When you match food and wine, you want to create that beautiful fusion in the mouth, don't you? You want that mingling of senses so that you haven't got two different forces competing, but that beautiful blend. And I think this just mingles beautifully. It's soft, it's silky, it brings out the flavours of the spices.
And yeah, it's definitely, definitely matching by harmony rather than matching by clash.
Absolutely. Now, I've learned that some of the best Indian food is vegetarian.
That's
and
right, yes.
We've got a vegetarian dish for this course. Tell me a little bit about it.
Well, we've got a grilled aubergine here, rather simple, but it draws its inspiration from Hyderabadi styles of sesame and tamarind sauce. But instead of using a sauce, what we've done is you've used the same ingredients and turned it into a crust.
So powerful, pungent and intense. So in terms of a wine to match with it, what I'm looking for is something, again, very fruit-driven, uplifted, punchy, vibrant, that's going to bring out all those flavours, because you've got natural sweetness in the tamarind, but you've got that quite dry sort of spiced flavour from the sesame seeds and the cashew. So this is Gruta Post Sauvignon Blanc from South Africa.
green chilies on the nose, actually.
So you're absolutely right. It's got that green bell pepper character, quite herbaceous, very vibrant, citrusy. Let's see if it works with the food.
I'm loving this.
I'm loving it too.
Yeah, that is.
Because you've got that herbaceous, almost a little touch of the vegetable, the herbaceousness in the aubergine balances beautifully with the Sauvignon. My second choice is a rosé again, because I really do think rosés work brilliantly with Indian food. This is Raimat Abadia Rosé, and it's a blend of Cabernet Sauvignon and Tempranillo. It's a dry rosé, which will work beautifully with the fleshiness and the dry pungency of the dish, but it's got, again, lots of vibrancy and natural richness, and hopefully strong enough to cope with the pungency. It's quite savoury, because this dish is more savoury and less sweet than a lot of Indian dishes. A drier rosé pairs very nicely because it's lifted, it's vibrant,
and
it's fruity.
That, the savoury aspect of the dish.
Again, the balance is just about right. So having explored southern India, my Indian food odyssey is now taking me north.
Indeed, and not just north, but actually including something that you don't commonly see in Indian restaurants. You'll actually see game. So we're doing a char-grilled breast of partridge with masala chili, walnuts, and pomegranate.
So this is a tandoori dish.
There is an element of smokiness that comes in from the char grilling it. So which gives it another dimension.
And then of course you've got that fresh crispness from the pomegranates.
And the watercress, the pepperiness of the watercress.
Yes. Now this has really made me think hard. I think I've got the right wines. The first one I'm going to show is a Chilean wine, Casillero del Diablo Viognier. I love the Viognier grape with spicy food. It comes originally from the Rhone. It's naturally very aromatic. It's sort of got an apricot-y character.
Right, yes.
I am hoping it's going to work. It's very subtle.
I'm delighted that you say it was quite subtle, because you want to be able to taste the partridge.
It's beautifully subtle, and I'm delighted to say, I don't know what you think, but I think this has just the right level of subtlety and fruit in the wine to go with the food. Because we've got game here, the second wine I'm putting with this dish is a red one. Game traditionally works perfectly with wines like Pinot Noir and Gamay. So I've chosen a wine from the Beaujolais region of France. This is a Fleury, which is made from the Gamay grape. And Gamay is lively, it's fruity, no harsh tannins at all. It's very joyous, and it's got a really lovely sweet berry character, which I think will work very nicely with the natural sweetness of the partridge, but also pick up the flavours of the cranberries. It's a very happy wine. It's lively, it's fruity. I often recommend this to people who say they don't like red wines, because it's much softer and it's lighter and it's fresher.
I kind of prefer the red with the partridge. And I hadn't tasted Gamay before this. I hadn't tasted this wine, but I think it works on a number of levels. And even if it had a little bit more tannin than this, even then it would work.
And what's the dish we're going to try?
What we've got today is a seared fillet of sea bass with a coconut ginger moili sauce. Moili?
What's moili?
Moili is a term they use, a Kerala term they use.
So lots of coconut, lots of ginger, lots of intensity. You're not making my life easy today, Vivek, are you? Because the flavours are so bold, this is where aromatic whites, spicy whites really come into their own. And I've gone straight for a Riesling and a Gewürztraminer. Now, most people think Riesling is from Germany. The New World produces some amazing Rieslings, lovely dry Rieslings, aromatic, floral, citrusy, bags of character, which I think will work very well with this. This is Chilean Riesling, Connoisseur Reserva Riesling, from a very cool area of Chile, so that you've got that freshness and flavour. You get that kick of heat on the end of the flavours, but lovely fresh fish, loads of sweetness and the coconut, but then that little kick of ginger. Does this one work? The citrus flavours.
It works like a song. What do you think? Great.
Now my second wine, you weren't sure when I mentioned that I was going to show a Gewürztraminer. You didn't look entirely sure, so I'm going to hopefully prove you wrong. What I've got here is Villa Maria Gewürztraminer. Now Gewürztraminer is a great variety that originated from Alsace, which is between France and Germany. It makes very spicy but dry aromatic whites. It's quite rich and it fills the mouth. It's very smooth, it's very silky. The creaminess of the coconut and the texture and the richness of that wine, I think, combine beautifully.
In terms of flavours itself,
You prefer the Riesling?
Riesling I prefer.
Right, the last course that you've prepared for us today moves us back north again through India.
That's right, yes. Up to Punjab, more tandoori style cooking, but it's a combination of old and new, east and west. It's a saddle of lamb which has been cooked in the tandoor, has been served with a mint and onion sauce, gila rice. The sauce is actually inspired from a korma, which is an onion, boiled onion and cashew nut kind of base, but then it's got its own little slant with herbaceous mint and onions and green chili, so zingy, zesty korma.
Right. Well, what I've chosen here, and I thought about it, we've tasted a lot of white wines and rosé wines today. A zesty white wine like a Sauvignon Blanc would be beautiful with this dish, I'm absolutely sure. But I've actually decided to go with two red wines because a lot of people do still love red wine with lamb. The classic match for lamb generally is Cabernet Sauvignon. So I've veered away from that today and I've gone for Pinot Noir, which is fruity, uplifted, and also an interesting grape variety from Chile. This is Villa Maria, Marlborough Pinot Noir.
I know that wine, I think it's... And Pinot Noir, just generally speaking,
it leaps out of the glass.
It's very welcoming, very all-embracing.
I've got all these beautiful aromas coming from the food, and I want a similar thing in my glass of wine. And here you've got mulberries, damsons, but again, a lovely natural sweetness. Again, that edge of herbaceousness, which should work.
Very promising.
Very soft, velvety. My final selection, and again I'm really interested in seeing what you think of this one, is Casillero del Diablo, Carmenere. There's a real campaign to say Carmenere is the wine to go with curry.
Is there?
Yes, absolutely. When you smell it, it's got that sort of almost dark mocha, a tiny bit of cocoa spice, it's got black fruits, it's quite dense, little touch of licorice, but you can almost smell the natural sweetness that you're going to taste. I think this is a perfect combination because as we taste it and we're talking, there's no clashing flavours, it all marries and mingles beautifully. Which is your favourite?
I think they both stand pretty equal actually. I love a Pinot Noir, a light fruity style one, but the Carmenere works just as well, so both quite different styles. One really streamlined and fresh and fruity and friendly. The other quite voluptuous, big,
fleshy and big.
And it's just quite different styles, but both work really well.
If you've enjoyed watching this and would like to find out more about which wines really go with Indian food, go to yourfavoritewines.com or toptable.com to find out more. I'm Angela Mount from Your Favourite Wines, and join us again very soon to find out which wines go with another very special style of cuisine.